What's up everybody, it's Joe here with Joseph Blake Photography, and in today's video we have updated leak specs for the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Let's jump into it. Hey everybody, I'm Joe. I'm a portrait and landscape photographer here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is my channel, Joseph Blake Photography, where we talk about tech and news and gear and reviews and how-tos and all the things that content creators use, whether it's here on YouTube, other places in social media, if you're delivering to clients, if you're just shooting for your friends and family. On this channel, we talk about the tech and the methods that we use that tech, the how-tos, and all the info to get that stuff done. If that's the type of stuff that you're interested in, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. And if at the end of the video you think I've done a good job, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Obviously, you can follow me on all the socials down below, but now let's jump in and start talking about this camera. So not too long ago, I did a video about what we thought were going to be the specs on this camera. And really, we talked about whether or not we thought that it would be coming this year, considering the fact that GoPro had launched, as they every year do, the 13 Hero Black, and from DJI, we got the Osmo Action 5 Pro. Now, Insta360 released the Ace Pro last year. We anticipated an update this year, and the real question was, would it be able to surpass or bring it up to the level that we see out of the GoPro and out of DJI's Osmo line? And on paper, some of these numbers look really, really good. It's a 1/1.3 inch sensor. They've continued to partner with Leica on an f2.6 aperture 13mm super wide lens that is now removable. Still using their iconic flip up screen, which, as I said in my previous video, I think is pretty ingenious considering the fact that it gives you everything that the front and back screen gives you while limiting the amount of battery drain necessary to run two screens, although not the OLED that we're seeing out of the DJI model. Now that 1/1.3 inch sensor is upgraded from a 48 to a 50 megapixel sensor, which does allow for 50 megapixel stills, but my assumption is on the video side that will just give more room to do more stabilization and AI stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. The rumored specification is that it will still be shooting in 8K, but that it will increase its maximum frame rate from 24 to 30 with purported improvement in battery life and an HDR mode. But what I think is going to be the headline feature, and you can even see this on the box, and this is something that I swear I think I've said myself on this channel multiple times about multiple brands and cameras, is they're putting an AI chip in it to make things better. Now, is this an actual AI chip? No, your camera will not turn into a T1000.
The future's most fearsome machine, the most advanced, unstoppable, most technically perfect creation of all time.
It will not become Skynet. What it is a faster chip that has machine learning algorithms built in and that allows much of the standard processes in a camera like this to just be better. And the things that I keep talking about are things like focus and subject recognition, improved speed and performance just in general, especially when it comes to taking some of the load off of the imaging processing chip to reduce power requirements.
Share the load.
And lastly is to improve low light performance with machine learning algorithms that are really good at removing noise and protecting details. So now we have a bunch of marketing images that have come through Twitter from Igor Bogdanov, or Quadro News over there. I will link down to his profile down below. Now, going through these images, first we see that they'll be marketing for 12 meters on the water resistance, that 1/1.3 inch Leica imaging system. And as you can see, they are marketing specifically the fact that this AI chip paired with their imaging chip will be built on a 5nm process. That will allow them to significantly reduce the power consumption requirements for this chip. And I would bet you that there are a significant number of components in here that will be pulling things off of the image processor to effectively lighten the load. But at the same time, we're seeing marketing information about the Insta360 app, which I think is honestly the only app of all the major manufacturers that I like using on my phone, that talk about its new AI features, which it released for its Insta360 cameras about a month or so ago, that allows it to analyze your images and video and automatically select the best perspective. It looks like it's going to be doing the same thing here with auto framing and potentially auto cropping of your videos and stills. So this is obviously AI machine learning generated feature that is not related to the AI chip on the camera, unless the camera is pre-selecting those framing options and then maybe you can change them in post on the phone in their app. That 13mm lens system developed with Leica will allow for up to a 157-degree field of view. That's an improvement over the 154-degree that we had previously. So about the same as what we see out of the DJI Action 5 Pro, and a little bit better than what we have out of the GoPro Hero 13 Black, although nowhere near the 170mm that is capable with the wide angle mod available for the GoPro. Though this lens for the Insta360 will be removable, though we haven't seen anything about potential lens mods. Additional marketing stills look like the HDR mode is, to be quite honest, faked in this image. It doesn't look very good. I'm assuming that the HDR mode on this camera will be shooting in HLG. I also find it kind of laughable that they're comparing the stabilization to on and off. Although in the low light example, they show what looks to be the exact same image and it's just brightened. So I'm not really sure that they're doing a really good job of demonstrating what's capable with this camera or that the other is bad. And that's where I want to talk about one particular feature, especially as we look at that HDR mode and the low light performance mode. If you look at the HDR mode, it looks honestly just like they've completely removed all contrast. And if you look at the low light performance, obviously in the darker one, it looks like highlights are blown out and, shadow areas are completely lost in detail. Whereas although their example of low light performance from the Ace Pro 2 looks like all the highlight detail has been retained, and yet all the shadowy areas have been brought up. But unfortunately, it looks like that workflow, it looks like that entire pipeline is going to be completely locked down to their feature set, as we have heard nothing about 10-bit video. Now, I left this out of my previous discussion, and a lot of you came into the comments to say this, and I am with you 100%. This camera needs to have 10-bit video. It needs to be able to shoot in a flat profile. Obviously, a log profile would be preferred, but at least a 10-bit flat contrast profile to allow us, after the fact, to edit it. And I understand that this isn't for everybody. Even if you're assuming that most of the consumers are going to be editing this footage on your phones and then exporting it to social or wherever, having a pipeline that includes 10-bit color is, I think at this point, table stakes, considering the fact that pretty much every drone, every action camera, every 360 camera can do this. But the Ace Pro couldn't, and we've heard nothing about the Ace Pro 2 adding this feature. It's HDR on or HDR off. It's low light performance versus the other guys. Where GoPro and DJI have both prominently featured their ability to shoot in 10-bit as a significant component of their feature set, we've heard nothing from Insta360 about it. Now, I am for all the AI features, I'm for all the in-camera improvements, especially for folks who don't want to do anything to this footage. They just want to take it right off their camera, through their phone, onto TikTok or Instagram or wherever they want it to go. Having that ability is great. But then you should be able to, if you want, say, okay, I don't want that stuff, just give me the footage and give it to me in 10-bit and allow me to edit it. Because we've been able to edit 10-bit Dolby Vision video on the iPhone for 3 generations now without a lot of trouble. It works great and it's phenomenal. So even if you weren't planning on taking the footage off your phone or off your camera onto, say, a computer or laptop or the iPad or something, like, people are doing this, so they need to do this. I do not know for certain that this isn't in the camera, but what we do know is that they aren't marketing it right now. The last bit of info that we're seeing is that it might have a removable mic cover. That pricing is probably going to come in at $400, though we don't know if that's going to include additional accessories. We also don't know the specifics on how much better the battery life will be, although it better land somewhere between the 2.5 and 4 hours that we're seeing out of the DJI and GoPro offerings, or else, again, this camera will not pick up any kind of momentum. What I'd really like to know is if, and let me know down in the comments, if you purchased the GoPro, or if you purchased the Action 5 Pro, or if you didn't and you're holding off because you wanted to see what this was going to be, let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know if you just said, you know what, screw it, there's nothing new this year. I've still got my Hero 12 Black, it's running just fine, or my Hero 11, because they have the same sensor. Or maybe you didn't want to have to deal with the constraints of bitrate on the Action 5 Pro and you've still got an Action 4, let me know down in the comments. I'm really curious. And if this type of information is important to you and is the type of thing that you're looking for, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you thought that I did a good job, if you thought that this video was informative to you, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. Obviously, you can find links down below to all of my social media platforms as well as all the gear that I use. But I specifically want to highlight Instagram really quick because I am trying to rebuild my Instagram following. And I'd really love to point you over to my latest video, which I worked really hard on, which is my Lake Tahoe video. I thought that was really fun to shoot. I had a good time. Well, I didn't have a good time. I had a good time editing it. I didn't have a good time while I was there, but check out that video. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click right here. And again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.